What's up, everyone? This is Patrick Valentine, and I am back once again with another review of SmackDown Live. And Jesus Christ, SmackDown was really, really terrible this week. It was very terrible, bad. It was just an all-out disaster. It was just an all-out disaster. I really don't understand the logic of this company when it comes to certain things, man. It really upsets me. It really does. It really upsets me. We started things off with Team Hell No. Daniel Bryan and Kane. Now, if there's one good thing that I will give WWE is that Daniel Bryan actually did something that a lot of people are complaining about. People constantly complain about, oh, there's no storytelling. You know, there's no storytelling. There's no character development, or WWE creative tend to make people forget when people get back together, or when tag teams reunite. Like with Monday Night Raw yesterday, Nia Jax is now all of a sudden a babyface again, and now all of a sudden she and Natalya are friends, even though Natalya got injured by Nia Jax during her feud with Ronda Rousey, and now all of a sudden they're happy, lovey friends. Here on SmackDown, Daniel Bryan wasn't fully trusting Daniel Bryan wasn't fully trusting Kane because of their past. He mentioned the time that Kane tombstoned Daniel Bryan when he was the World Heavyweight Champion and WWE Champion. He mentioned the time when Kane tried to induct Brie Bella into the depths of hell during her Divas Championship match against Paige in 2014, and all those other times that they were together. That is what you call good storytelling. I think that was probably the only good thing that I really found interesting. That Daniel Bryan was trying to make it sound like that he couldn't fully trust Kane yet until Kane apologized for everything he did. And which he did apologize, but that was happening later. He apologized later in the show. So then the Usos came out, and this really confused me. The Usos came out, and now they seem to be behaving like heels now, because they came out acting like heels that, you know, that they were going on about how Paige gave Daniel Bryan and Kane a championship match just because they hugged it out. So then they started hugging. They were like, look, we hugged, so now we get a tag team title opportunity. Then later Paige eventually came out and she said Daniel Bryan and Kane still get their title match, but this time the Usos have to earn it. So she puts Team Hell No and the Usos in the main event of SmackDown Live, and if the Usos win, they get added. So Paige was pretty much saying, yeah, Usos, you had your turn, but if you really want another opportunity, you gotta earn it. That is something I really don't understand. And I really doubt this is an official heel turn for the Usos, because that's just silly, because that's just kind of silly. But hey, I think a lot of people would have been a little bit happy this week that the Usos are kind of heels. Next we had Jeff Hardy issuing an Independence Day Open Challenge for the United States Championship. I was trying to think of all the possible opponents that could have came out for Jeff Hardy. I was thinking Almas, because a lot of people were whining about Almas. And by the way, guys, I've got a video about Andrade Cien Almas, but that will most likely come tomorrow. That will most likely be tomorrow, because I've got something else for you guys, just like on Monday. Oh, I should say Tuesday. Just like on Tuesday. And the person that accepted the challenge was The Miz. So The Miz accepts the challenge. Jeff Hardy ends up winning due to The Miz attempting to cheat. Now, I find this hilarious. I find this hilarious that The Miz, of all of his other times, Miz cheated nearly every other time when he was the Intercontinental Champion. So the referee now decides to catch The Miz from cheating. Now, I know he was on Monday Night Raw when he was doing this, but don't forget, the referee has stupidly allowed The Miz to get away with things in the past. Now he decides to catch him red-handed. I don't like The Miz. I've never been a big fan of The Miz, but I respect the in-ring work that this guy can put on. So, that's my complaint. The fact is that through storyline-wise, The Miz has cheated nearly every single time, and now that he's by himself, now he gets caught. But he gets caught. This gets Jeff Hardy to do the Twist of Fate into the Swanton Bomb. The Miz loses. Jeff Hardy retains the United States Championship, and he'll also be defending the United States Championship against Shinsuke Nakamura at Extreme Rules. At least they saved it for the pay-per-view instead of giving it away on a random episode of SmackDown. The New Day spoiled the first annual 3rd of July pancake eating contest. Now, I didn't think this thing was going to go through the whole way. There was no way that WWE would have us sit through 5 minutes of the New Day eating pancakes. I knew that wasn't going to be, I knew it wasn't going to end with all three of them eating pancakes. So who comes out to spoil the party? Sanity. Sanity comes out to spoil the party. They beat the crap out of New Day, and they and Eric Young sends Xavier Woods through a table. People would take Sanity. I think people would take this more seriously if they didn't lose last week. That's what I'm trying to say. Maybe people would take this more seriously if they didn't lose last week. We had Asuka versus James Ellsworth, Battle of the Sexists. This ended in a double countout. So what does Paige do for next week? So what does Paige do for next week? Oh, let's do it again. Let's do Asuka versus Ellsworth again. But this time, we're going to get all the women around the ring. Let's get all the beautiful, attractive girls around the SmackDown wing, so that way James Ellsworth can't escape Asuka's wrath. I'm sorry, but I think you guys are... I'm sorry, but I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but I feel like this is... I'm not saying Ellsworth is going to beat Asuka. What I'm going to say is that I feel like it seems like WWE have forgotten who was the last woman that took on James Ellsworth. Becky Lynch. Obviously, Becky Lynch is not going to let James Ellsworth get away. If James Ellsworth tries to get away, Becky Lynch is going to get her hands on that little scrub and throw him right back into the ring. I think this is how they're going to get Becky Lynch into the championship picture. This right here, this match next week is most likely going to get Becky Lynch into the championship title picture next week. because she's been beating people left and right. There's really nothing for her to do. You may as well just give her a title shot at SummerSlam and get it over with. Crown Becky Lynch champion, because that's what everybody wants. Hurry up and crown her champion. So then that way maybe Asuka could turn heel or something. AJ Styles and Aiden English. This really was a nothing match. AJ Styles got the win with the car crusher. He went for the Styles Clash. Aiden English countered it, but then Styles countered it into the car crusher to get Aiden tapping out. And Rusev assaults AJ Styles after the match. Becky Lynch versus Peyton Royce. I'm not surprised at this outcome. I'm not. Well, why should I hope and pray that the Australians will actually get a win? Becky Lynch easily gets the win here. The thing that pisses me off is that WWE is hyping up the Super Showdown in Melbourne, Australia. They're hyping up this big event for us in October. So you would think that they should make, I don't know, give Billie Kay and Peyton Royce some wins because they're Australians. You know, make the Australian fans happy. Nope. They don't want to. Let's just keep making them lose. Even though they've already won, even though they've won one match. Like I've explained to you guys so many times before, they've only won one match since coming. Every other match, except for that one match that they won, they have been losing. All the Iconics are jobbers. And I hate to say this about these two women. I hate to say this about them. It's Emma all over again with these two. It's Emma all over again. And that's exactly what it is with these two women. I had a feeling this was going to happen. I had a feeling these two were going to replace Emma as the jobbers, as the jobbers for the brand. It's a shame. It's a shame that things have to be this way. God, I wish WWE would push new talents. It's not going to friggin' harm Becky Lynch if she loses one match. Jesus Christ. But Asuka losing at all, but apparently Asuka losing at least one match completely damages her, according to everybody. But you know, we've already talked about that. Becky Lynch wins. Who cares? I love Becky too, but this is just ridiculous. And the main event was Team Hell No versus the Usos. And I know what most people are going to say. Kane in the main event in 2018. Yep. We've got Kane in the main event in 2018. But we've got Daniel Bryan in the main event. But we've got the Usos in the main event. But the main concern is that we've got Kane in the main event. Look. I understand people's frustrations with Kane. I understand people's frustrations with Kane. I understand everybody's frustrations greatly. I understand it 100%. I understand it 100%. But if you think about it, what is WWE going to be like when people like Kane and Big Show retire? Sure, people will be happy that they're going to retire. But you got to realize that WWE is doing this just to try and keep, you know, some of their old guys around. Sure, people like Kane and Big Show and Undertaker have to retire eventually. And yes, I know, and yes, I know Kane is becoming mayor of Knoxville. Obviously, Kane's got free time. Obviously, Kane's got some time, and he's obviously got some time to fill out. He's got enough time to fill out for some dates. And this whole thing with Daniel Bryan might only last for a couple of weeks. Then he'll probably go back to being mayor of Knoxville. People complain about WWE having plans for Kane, but what about Nikki Bella? What about Nikki Bella? She's like one of the biggest names in WWE, and they've got zero plans for her. They've got no plans for her at all. They'd rather have her be a part-timer. Sure, she's had injuries. But you're telling me 2 neck injuries is preventing you from bringing her back? Don't you know she's desperately needed for this division? Nikki Bella is desperately needed for the SmackDown division. She is desperately needed, but you're okay with you're okay with bringing Kane back and having him do some stuff, but not Nikki Bella. You'd rather have her worry about Total Bellas. You'd rather her worry about her relationship with John Cena. You'd rather have her do Total Bella's stuff, but not get back into the ring where this brand desperately needs her. It's absolutely ridiculous. She's like one of the biggest names in your company, and you have no plans for the biggest woman in your company? And I want to talk about one more thing before I go. I am sick and tired of Corey Graves. I used to think he was really cool as a commentator. I enjoyed his work as a commentator. Sometimes he is funny, but I just cannot stand him anymore. He is a heel commentator. And yes, heel commentators are meant to be annoying. I understand that. I understand they're meant to be annoying, and I understand they're meant to be heels. But if he's a heel commentator, can someone explain to me, why does he hate Elias? As far as I know, Elias is a heel. He's not a babyface. He's a heel. So, should WWE turn Elias face? Because the fact that Michael Cole seems to like Elias, but Corey Graves seems to hate Elias. Well, why not turn Elias face? Instead of keeping him as a heel, turn him face. And also, here's another thing: if Corey Graves is a heel, why every time Bobby Roode comes out, why does he always scream, "Give me a hallelujah"? As far as I know, Bobby Roode is a face, not a heel. I know he probably likes Bobby Roode. But here's the thing. He used to hate Bayley. And now he's the biggest Bayley fan. Now he's the biggest Bayley fan. Sure, that is how a heel commentator works. If you're slowly turning heel, when the babyface turns heel, you start liking that person that turns heel. But apparently Corey Graves would rather not like Elias, and he would rather have he will have a erection over Mandy Rose. Every time he sees Mandy Rose, he'll have an erection over her. It's like maybe he's secretly pulling his pants down and rubbing his you-know-what when he sees Mandy Rose. And here's another thing that pisses me off. Before the Battle of the Sexes stuff, I'm pretty sure people listen to the commentary very well. I was clearly listening to the commentary, and you can't deny Corey Graves said that he cannot wait to see what Oscar is going to do to James Ellsworth. I clearly heard him say that. I clearly heard him say, I can't wait to see Oscar kick James Ellsworth's butt. And then when the match happens, you hear Tom Phillips and Byron Saxton laughing their asses off that Oscar's kicking his ass, and now you're hearing Corey Graves saying, how can you condone this? How are you okay with this? And then I'm thinking, what? You said moments ago that you can't wait to see what Oscar's going to do to James Ellsworth, Corey Graves. Like, do WWE clearly think I'm stupid? I heard what Corey Graves said. Corey Graves has just become he's really become a very annoying commentator. And I don't know how to feel about him anymore. This is why I wasn't angry at people like Jerry Lawler when he used to be a heel commentator. Because he wasn't annoying. He wasn't annoying as a heel. He was funny. He used to bicker a lot with JR. That was funny. JBL might have been slightly annoying, but there were times where even I sort of enjoyed JBL as a heel commentator, because at least he wasn't casually annoying. He did get annoying over the years. He eventually did get annoying. JBL did get annoying over the years. He became one of the worst commentators when he was meant to be a heel, but then he got excited every time a babyface would hit a comeback. You know, like, if you're a heel commentator, you're not meant to be... You're meant to be a heel. You can't be both. So that's my issue here with Corey Graves. He is meant to be a heel, but at the same time, he kind of does both. He either... Like, Elias is now like Enzo Amore to Corey Graves. Because Corey Graves hated Enzo Amore even when he was a heel. How does that work? I don't get Corey Graves, and I don't get the scripts that they give Corey Graves. If he's a heel commentator, he needs to be straight heel. He can't cheer for different people. That's my issue. That's my issues about that. That's my issue about Corey Graves, and the reason why I brought up Nikki Bella is because I feel terrible for her. Like WWE have all the time in the world to plan stuff for Kane, but they don't have any time to plan any comebacks for Nikki Bella. That's the thing that agitates me. They got time to plan Big Show and Kane, but they've got no time to plan for Nikki Bella. That's a dead shame. Those are my rants, and that is my SmackDown Live review, guys. If you guys enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up. Comment your opinions down below. Comment about anything about the rants. If you want to talk about the rants that I went on right now, you can gladly talk about that. If there's anything you got a problem with, or if there's anything that you can, maybe help me understand for the reason of it, then greatly go ahead. I'll gladly listen up. But either way, guys, that is the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to subscribe as well. Hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the notification bell so that way you'll be notified when my next video comes. And also be sure to follow me at my Twitter at pvalentine95. And once again, just like after my Monday Night Raw review, I've got a little short video planned coming up later on in the day. Thank you all for joining me. I'll talk to you all later.